sa lahat po ng hearing na na-attendan ko dun sa apat na committee na ito, nakita ko na there are certain things or issues na intertwined with one another.
Come to think of it, because every time that Chairman Abante is conducting his investigation on EJK, pupunta kami doon. We try to investigate those human rights violation. Kapag meron namang illegal drugs, we are going to Chairman Ace Barbers, yung issue about sa illegal drugs. We consume a lot of participation in different committees, like sa public accounts, yung mga properties that are being bought by Chinese nationals, and even do sa Committee on Transportation about sa mga Coast Guards that we have found out na mga Chinese nationals also were recruited by the former administration. So basically, talagang nakita namin that interconnected yung lahat ng mga issues.
So nagko-connect yung mga individuals in which those names na lumalabas is connected to Pogo, is connected to drugs.
Naniniwala kami because the 4 committees that have been conducting all these hearings, meron pong overlapping and commonalities. Ating lahat, magandang umaga po sa ating mga kaibigan sa media at of course sa aking mga kasamahan dito. With your approval and indulgence, allow me to make a short opening statement just to give a proper context dito sa ating ginagawang Quadcom. Number one, this is a historic creation of the committees in the House of Representatives. Historic in the sense that this is the first time it's going to happen because meron pong urgent national issue that the House of Representatives is presently and currently addressing in the 4 committees that we are conducting hearings on. Nakita natin that there seems to be a criminal organization operating within the country where drugs or drug money being used to corrupt certain government officials in order to secure fake and spurious documents to misrepresent themselves as Filipinos, to be able to acquire properties or lands sa ating bansa, at itong mga lupang binibili nila, dito nila tinatayo yung kanilang mga front na mga legitimate na mga negosyo, kagaya ng Pogo. No? Sa aming teorya, naniniwala kami because the 4 committees that have been conducting all these hearings, meron pong overlapping and commonalities in the issues that we are tackling. No? Sa drugs, meron pong kaugnay na usapin tungkol sa extrajudicial killings. Sa public accounts, meron pong kaugnay dyan yung mga corrupt government offices that provide the Chinese syndicates the necessary spurious documents for them to be able to perform or acquire properties dito sa atin. Sa public order naman, as we all know and very well know, na marami pong mga scalawags in uniform that are involved in recycling of drugs as well as committing abuses such as extrajudicial killing. So, since there are commonalities and overlapping issues, we thought the 4 committees with the veteran lawmakers in front of you today thought it wise na tayo ay gumawa ng isang committee na kung saan mag-collaborate itong mga committee ito para magkaroon ng isang malawakang investigasyon, no? That will meticulously get into the details. Ang common objective po namin dito is to pass a remedial legislation. We will make sure that the Quadcom, at the end of our committee hearing, as soon as we are able to exhaustively be able to conduct investigations and be able to get sufficient information and data, then this committee, you can be assured that the committee will propose legislation for this Congress. So, yun lamang po, kasi napahaba yung short introduction natin. So, magandang umaga sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Chairman Barbers. May I call on Kat Porbes from Radyo Pilipinas for her questions.
Hello. Good morning po, Kongs. Unang tanong ko lang po, ano po yung magiging advantage po na pinagsama-sama natin itong apat na committee na to para po dito sa investigation nitong mga issue nga po on POGO, illegal drugs, and human rights?
Ako muna sasagot. So, I think it is for the best interest of this Congress to really have these apat na committees. Actually, dapat kasama nga yung kay Chairman Acop kasi may issue din doon about sa mga Coast Guards. And the very reason that we are conducting this kind of approach, come to think of it, because every time that Chairman Abante is conducting his investigation on EJK, pupunta kami doon. We try to investigate those human rights violation. Kapag meron namang illegal drugs, we are going to Chairman Ace Barbers, yung issue about sa illegal drugs. We consume a lot of participation in different committees, like sa public accounts, yung mga properties that are being bought by Chinese nationals, and even do sa Committee on Transportation about sa mga Coast Guards that we have found out na mga Chinese nationals also were recruited by the former administration. So basically, talagang nakita namin that interconnected yung lahat ng mga issues. And what is the primary objective doon sa ginagawa namin? To fast track, para at the same time, makita nga natin yung mga gagawin natin mga batas, and at the same time, kung ano yung magiging recommendation ng apat na committees. So basically, pinadadali po natin yung investigasyon, and as a matter of fact, ay yun po yung discussion with the Speaker, para na sa ganon ay makita po natin kung ano po talaga yung problema na kinaharap ng ating bayan.
Good morning, everyone. Anyway, the investigations all started last year pa dun sa committee ko. It all started with an ordinary investigation with regards to purchase of properties by Mexico, Pampanga. And one Chinese national in the person of Jiang Jiyang was involved in the transaction, and we found out that he's not a Filipino citizen claiming to be Filipino. Now, kaya kailangan tong apat na committee na magkasama-sama kasi there are interlocking data and personalities. For example, in the case of Edith Tayang, which is now a fugitive with house, cited in contempt, may detention order, until now, hindi mahuli-huli, he's connected with Willie Ong sa Empire 999, in which that was the property in which 3.6 billion of shabu was recovered under yun kay Chairman Ace Barbers. And this Willie Ong is connected to Edith Tayang. Now, with regards to the POGO, in which Chairman Dan is now investigating, pumasok ngayon yung pangalan ng kapatid ni Michael Yang. Okay? Na konektado doon sa Full Wind Corporation, in which that is part of my committee's investigation. Doon po lumabas yun. So, nagko-connect yung mga individuals. Kaya kailangan para magsasalubong na lahat. Kasi, kaya nga this investigation of my committee drags on for 1 year. Kasi every day, every hearing day, may lumalabas na mga pangalan in which those names na lumalabas is connected to POGO, is connected to drugs. So, that's why we ask, kami mga chairman, including Chairman Acop, we ask the leadership na dapat i-consolidate ito lahat. Yung Quadcom was created for this purpose. Now, sabi nga ni Chairman Barbers, but of course, yung mga resolutions sa bawat committee, Kaya inaabol namin ngayon na ma-terminate na, makapagpagawa ng committee report para po yung the rest pa na dapat ang mga legislative remedial nagagawin ng House dito na po sa Quadcom, no? But of course, sabi ko na nga, yung mga committee, may minahanda na po kaming mga committee reports, no? So, yun yung buong picture why this Quadcom was created. No? Nagkakasalubong na yung mga personalities at sama yung issues. Thank you po.
Kay Chair ako po, bilang kayo po, isa po kayo sa mga senior din po na legislators and yung background po ninyo sa law enforcement, ano po yung nakikita ninyo na magiging, yun nga po yung advantage nito when it comes po doon sa ating pag-gather po ng evidence?
Thank you. Ako po ay membro sa lahat po ng committee na ito. Vice Chairman ako sa Committee on Dangerous Drugs, Vice Chairman ako sa Committee on Public Order and Safety, membro ako ng Committee on Human Rights, membro rin ako ng Committee on Public Accounts. Sa lahat po ng hearing na na-attendan ko dun sa 4 na committee na ito, nakita ko na there are certain things or issues na intertwined with one another. So, there came a point na kami, na mga chairman nag-usap-usap. Kasi nahihirapan kami na lalabas sa isang committee, isang issue connected with another committee. To such an extent na kailangan ilabas namin uli dun sa committee. So, ang nangyayari, hindi namin matagpi-tagpi yung mga information about common issues. So sabi ko, why don't we come up with a, kung yung tinatawag po natin na whole of nation approach, magsama-sama na tayo para iisa na lang ang committee na hawak sa lahat ng issues na intertwined with one another. Yun po ang nangyari. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you po.
Ako naman, naniniwala ako na yung investigasyon namin ito is actually a national security concern. Unang-una, we invited the former president to come, no? And he did not come. Imbitahan namin uli siya. The thing is, even the other committees would want to invite the former president. Sapagkat siya lang ang makakasagot ng mga tanong na ito. Sa aking committee, bakit sinasabi ng NUPL na more than 20,000 ang napatay? 16,000 ang napatay ng the vigilante forces. Nakatanggap kami ng datos mula sa Philippine National Police na nagsasabi doon na baka 21 lang ang napatay ng mga drug lords pero more than 7,000 ang napatay ng mga drug pushers at 440 people ang drug users na hindi dapat patayin, hindi dapat arestuhin, kundi dapat i-rehabilitate, ay napatay. Oo. At hindi lang to, na-find out din namin na may reward system. Saan ang gagaling ang pera na binibigay sa mga nakakapatay ng mga pulis? Yun ang tanong namin dito. Kaya sabi namin, magkakasundo-sundo na kami para maimbitahan ang dating Pangulo para sagutin niya lahat ng mga bagay na ito because this concerns our national security at siya lamang ang makakasagot nito.
Thank you po, Kongs. Last on my... Ay, sige po, Kong
Dagdagan ko lang, kasi itong pag-create ng Quadcom ay sang-ayon ito sa rules ng House, no? Dun sa Rules of Procedure Governing Inquiries in Aid of Legislation. So, hindi po ito bago, although this is historic as I stated earlier. Kasi ngayon pa lang tayo nagkaroon ng ganitong klaseng multi-committees that will hear a common issue that encompasses all the what do you call this, the coverage of the different committees. So we thought it wise na para isang hearing tayo, hindi din aksayado yung oras ng ating mga inimbitahang resource persons, isang hearing tayo na gagawin natin. At ito ay hindi lamang kami ang nakapansin. Maraming kasamahan sa Kongreso. In fact, there was a privileged speech delivered by the Senior Deputy Speaker stating the same reason, na there is a necessity na magkaroon tayo ng ganitong klaseng committee. Marami rin pong mga resolusyon na ipinasa, inihain sa atin at ito naman ay inadapt ng plenaryo na kung saan mayorya ng miyembro ng Kongreso ay sumasang-ayon na magkaroon ng quad committee or multi-committee that will hear the issues that we stated earlier. Yun lamang po. Dagdag na information.
Thank you po. Last on my end po, kailan po magsisimula yung hearing ng Quadcom na ito na ating pong binuo? At sino po yung mga, nabanggit na po kanina ni Kong Benny na we will invite the former president. Sino pa po yung mga, kumbaga, common resource person na iimbitahin po?
August 15, meron tayong start ng hearing. And I think 16 also, we have also a meeting. But what we wanted is, kasi meron tayong budget hearing dito And what we try to talk about, ilabas natin yung hearing. Pumunta tayo sa other, like for example, yung sa issue ko, dun sa Pampanga, sa Pogo. So I told my co-chairman that siguro dun tayo mag-hearing para hindi tayo nakaka-istorbo dun sa budget hearing. Kasi we have to expedite also the budget hearings. So baka mawalan kami ng room dito, so ilalabas namin yung hearing.
We plan to have the first hearing here in Batasan sa August 15, di ba? August 15. Yun pa lang. Oo. And then, iimbitahan din namin sapagkat kasama rin dito si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Imbitahan namin siya. Now, it's up to him kung pupunta siya o hindi. Si Harry Roque, imbitahan din namin siya. Lahat ng mga dating mga director generals na involved sa mga pagpatay during the war on drugs, iimbitahan din po namin.
Thank you, Kat. Melalis Moras from PTV4.
Hi, good morning po mga Kong. Just a quick follow-up lang po kasi today at 10 a.m. may hearing din po ang about Pogo. So ano po yung magiging pagkakaiba ng hearing today sa magiging hearing natin sa August 15? And isunod ko na, pag-isahin ko na rin po. Ano pong mangyayari dun sa respective panel hearings ng kanya-kanya yung grupo? Ano pong mangyayari dun sa mga nag-gather nyo ng evidence? Kumbaga parang comparison lang dun sa magiging quad committee at ito-terminate na po ba yung mga kanya-kanyang probe?
So, hindi siya magiging termination. As a matter of fact, magiging parang makakatulong, augmentation, dun sa pinaka-mother committee, which will be the Quad Committee. Basically, all the COMSECs are meeting right now para ma-consolidate yung mga topics that were discussed in every committees. And as a matter of fact, actually, kami rin naman yung mga uma-attend doon sa mga different committees with regard to this issue. And the reason that we took cognizance doon sa mga hearings nila, because ako, personally, nakita ko na may involvement yung issue ko sa issue nila. And sila naman, ganoon din, kaya sila uma-attend sa hearing ko dahil nakikita nila na may correlation. And basically, yun yung nag-start up ng lahat para sabi namin, para matapos na ito, ma-expedite natin, magsama-sama na tayo. So basically, yung sa Pogo, yung mamaya, tatapusin ko na yun. I-elevate na namin yung hearing dito sa Quadcom.
Anyway, just to add, kasi sa bawat committee may kanya-kanyang reso. So it has to be terminated, di ba? But of course, there are issues na somewhat parochial that should be resolved. No, so itong mga information at saka committee report that will be approved at the committee level will be used dito sa Quadcom. For example, in the case of Mexico Pampanga, supposedly dapat nga tapusin na kahapon Kaya lang may lumutang ulit, Pero local. Pero local. So the committee hearings at the committee level, it all depends, yung termination to the substantial data that will be gathered for purposes of the committee report and be used to this Quadcom, kasi itong Quadcom is focused on the national issues, no? Eka nga, sabi nga ni Chairman Abante, this is now a national security concern. So, just like in my committee, may Mexico Pampanga pa ko, tatapusin ko na yan, mayroon pa akong San Simon, mayroon pang Tayabas ngayon. So, hindi pwedeng i-terminate basta-basta unless until nakuha natin yung buong picture at saka mga issues doon, no? Mga proof and data. So, yun po. But it can be used, no? Dito sa Quadcom. Thank you.
So basically, the 4 committees will now prepare to write the exit report na isasubmit dito sa Quadcom so that we can also use the same evidence, either testimonial siya or material or documents na sinubmit sa aming committee, gagamitin din natin yon dito sa Quadcom. Kasi if you remember, we stated earlier na magkakaroon to ng isang malaking report wherein we will hold accountable yung mga accountable dito, yung mga may liabilities. If we will recommend prosecution against people in government that are involved in this shenanigan. And of course, yung remedial legislation na pwede nating na magiging bunga nitong Ang objective dito kasi isang malaking criminal organization ang aming teorya na nag-ooperate sa ating bansa. And because of that, we will have to come up with a legislation to ensure that this will not happen anymore kung meron tayong batas. Pangalawa, yung strict implementation nitong batas na gagawin natin. At pangatlo, syempre, bringing them to justice. Yan ang napaka-importante dyan. Thank you.
Supporting what Chairman Barber said, I really would like to say this. Dalawang bagay ang gagawin namin dito. Unang-una, yung sinasabi niyang remedial legislation. Pangalawa, gusto ko na ma-prosecute itong mga taong ito. Hindi lamang po legislation, kundi kapag nakita natin dito sa investigasyon na ito, na mayroong mga nagkasala dito, mayroong gumawa ng krimen dito, dapat yan i-prosecute. Whether it be DOJ o Ombudsman, is up to them. To prosecute these people. Sapagkat kinakailangan na to address this problem. Sapagkat naniniwala po kami dito na hindi lamang ito criminal organization. This is actually a syndicate. Whether you call it political or economic, whatever it might be, this is a syndicate operating in our country. Yun ang aming pag-aakala dito. Kaya kami nagkatipon-tipon. All right.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Gab Lalo from Inquiry Online, you're recognized for your questions. Ayaw niya na.
Sir, I have 2 questions po. Sir, first kay Congressman Abante. Tanong ko lang po if tama po ba na isama yung human rights? Kasi yung iniimbestigahan po ng human rights happened before yung mga EJK, alleged EJK. Tapos ito naman pong Pogo, yung sa Mexico, recent lang naman po siya. I mean, paano pwede po mapaliwanag kung paano nag-i-intertwine yung dalawang issue?
There are exchange of money here, ba? Ibig sabihin, ang nakita namin na there might be a quota system in the Philippine National Police, number 1. Although dinideny ito ng iba, pero ibang mga police na nasabi nila ito. Pangalawa, there's a reward system. So, ibig sabihin, sa reward system na yan, kapag nakapatay ka ng drug pusher, may reward ka. Nalaman namin na this is a testimony of one of the policemen that we have, officers, from 20,000 to 60,000 yung binabayad dyan. You see, yan testimony. We'd like to find out why. We'd like to find out saan nanggagaling ang pera. Sapagkat nalaman namin, nanggagaling yan sa Pogo money. Nanggagaling sa gambling money yan. Oo. Sa drugs naman, alam natin na ang pinatay nung panahon ng war on drugs ay mga drug pushers. mga drug lords, pero nadamay ang mga drug users. Nadamay, merong mistaken identity. In fact, in our last hearing, merong 9 years old na bata na pinatay, binaril, pero nakalagay death certificate pneumonia. Walang police report ang ginawa yung 4 na police na nag-imbestiga. Anong ibig sabihin po nito? Anong ibig sabihin niyan? Wala kaming makita, wala kaming malaman kung ano nangyari dito. Kawawa yung ama na nagsabi, yung aking anak pinatay, andun ang bala. Nung pinatay siya, yung bala hindi na natanggal, andun pa rin. Pero yung death certificate, ano nakalagay? Pneumonia.
Sir, just to follow up, I get na meron siyang correlation sa dangerous drugs. Pero sa Pogo and sa Mexico, Pampanga, ano pong connection niya, sir?
Yung exchange ng pera. Yung pera, yung galing sa Pogo, galing sa gambling, na binabayad doon sa mga kapulisan natin.
Bukod doon, no, yung nakita natin na pinalabas sa Committee on Public Order, yung mga torture na ginagawa sa mga empleyado ng Pogo. Malaking bahagi yon ng human rights kasi forced labor doon sa report ng PAOK, sinasabi nila na pinipilit nila yung mga empleyado to work more than 18 hours. Imagine, para lang maka-achieve sila ng quota kasi may quota silang hinahabol. So, yan, isa yan bahagi ng human rights na dapat nating tingnan. No? Bukod dun sa murder that are committed against Pogo employees, yung torture, yung human trafficking dyan, kidnapping, lahat nandiyan dyan.
By the way, Chairman Barbers, nalaman din namin na meron din tayong police officers that are victims of human rights. Mga police officers na ginamit lamang. Ginamit. They did not really want to kill anyone, pero ginamit sila. Ang gusto natin malaman, sino yung gumamit? Ba't ginamit itong mga taong ito? And I would like to ask the police officers, even right now, kapag kayo, ginamit kayo, victim kayo ng human rights, sumigaw na kayo. Sabihin nyo na sa amin yan. Kailangan nating malaman ito.
May I? Yes. Kayo yung nasa media, di po ba? And you have been members of the media, even during the past administration. If we remember, ang centerpiece ng the past administration is the war on drugs. I think we agree on that. And the reason why it was the centerpiece because alam po nila na dahil sa drugs, maraming krimen na nangyari. Lahat ng karamihan ng krimen, it's connected to illegal drugs. Yun ang dahilan. After the administration, yung past administration namin, marami pa rin remnants na gumagawa ng mali eh. For example, doon po sa nangyari sa San Juan, Batangas, yung tao, wala namang bypass na nangyari eh. Basta binaril na lang yung tao. That's extrajudicial killing. Doon sa akin sa Antipolo, nag-kidnap sila ng tao dahil itinuro lang ng isang asset nila. Yung bata, college student sa Fatima, nasira tuloy yung buhay niya dahil nakakulong. So, I think, kung titingnan po natin, lahat po nung aspeto ng mga committee na ito ay nag-originate doon po sa iisa, yung sa illegal drugs. So, yun po ang dahilan kung bakit kami nag-isip na dapat a committee or a quad committee, ito na lang ang mag-hear nito para makorelate lahat. Ang hirap pong magtagpi kung hiwa-hiwalay po kami. Marami pong salamat.
Sir, and my second question po, what is your opinion, anyone can answer naman po, what is your opinion on views that drug war victims can, the relatives of the drug war victims can use these proceedings for their complaints at the ICC? Do you prefer this po, or do you agree with this, or do you prefer that cases should be filed here locally first?
Okay. Itong hearings natin ay public hearing, no? And since this is the nature is of public because of public interest, therefore records of such hearings will be of out in the public. So anyone can use the transcript or maybe even records of the hearings, no? As to how they're going to use it, hindi ho namin sakop yun. If the ICC would want to use this, it's up to them, no? Kasi nga public record na ito, kung ano yun, kung makakatulong sa kanila o hindi makakatulong, it is up to them.
Actually, I made a statement that my hearing is domestic, no? We would like this to be heard para we could be able to resolve this domestically, no? I'm not going to allow the ICC to use the Committee on Human Rights. Oo. Para sabihin nila, ito ang pwede ng Committee on Human Rights. Let them investigate on their own. Oo. Sila. Sapagkat sinabi naman ng ating Pangulo ngayon that we do not recognize the ICC in the Philippines right now. So it's up to them to investigate. But I am not going to allow the Committee on Human Rights to be used by the ICC for their own investigation.
Thank you, Gab. Billy Vegas from Abante Politico. You're recognized.
Kay Kong Abante lang po. Kung sabi nyo kanina, invite nyo si former President Duterte. How about, say, Senator Bato de la Rosa po?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I-invite nyo rin po ba si Senator Bato?
Yes, we are going to invite him. Definitely, we will.
Thank you. Jonathan Andal from GMA 7.
By the way, we're not inviting him because he's a senator, no? We're inviting him because he used to be the Director General in which libo-libo ang napatay. Kaya I just like to say this, no, ha? Sinasabi niya kasi na wala kaming karapatan mag-imbestiga. Meron kaming karapatan mag-imbestiga. He should have read even the rules of the Senate on that. You see, we're investigating him. We would like to invite him, not because he is a sitting senator, but because he was, during the time of the war on drugs, the Director General of the Philippine National Police. And under his stewardship, libo-libo ang napatay.
Good morning po, Jonathan Andal sa GMA News. Since dahil magiging Quadcom na po, mag-issue ba kayo ng bagong invitation kay former President Duterte signed by all four chair?
Yes, we will invite the former president to enlighten us dun sa issue on the war on drugs, no? And maybe he can shed some information that will be of help, no, in the writing of the committee report, especially dun sa remedial legislation na plano naming maging produkto nito, no? And his expertise, his wisdom will be appreciated by the Quadcom. Kaya kailangan naming marinig sa kanya mismo.
I understand yung initial reason ba't siya iimbita dahil sa war on drugs. Pero pag-uusapan din kasi sa Quadcom yung POGO. May gusto ba kayong itanong sa dating Pangulo tungkol sa POGO?
Well, basically, we have heard dun sa committee natin, no, that he issued Executive Order number 13 transferring the authority of CESA to conduct yung mga online gaming to PAGCOR. And because of this transfer of the power from CESA to PAGCOR, nag-proliferate yung mga illegal POGOs, considering all the criminal elements that we have seen, no? Ano yung rationale why this executive order was issued? But of course, meron di ba? But we have seen yung maraming elements sa drugs, sa POGOs, sa buying of properties, sa EJK, na a while ago we are trying to correlate each other. And sino yung pinagmulan ng lahat ng ito? There must be something on top of everything. Hindi naman pumasok tong mga elementong to ng ganun lamang, di ba? And probably this is the objective of this committee, to find out, di ba? Kasi aside from crafting the right bills na magiging batas, syempre yung ang pananagutan ng mga nagperpetrate nitong mga problems that we are now trying to solve.
Anong particular question po yung gusto nyong itanong kay former President Duterte tungkol sa POGO, Congressman Dan?
Well, actually, siyempre, mahirap sagutin yung ngayon na sasabihin na namin kung anong katanungan. We will just go with the flow. We'll be inviting him to shed light on all the issues pertaining do sa issues ng public order and safety, na compromise ba yung ating national security, and yung narrative that we are gearing toward a certain and one specific country, and instead of trying to be impartial about everything in order to maximize yung benefits that we can get to those countries, those are the issues that we have to tackle. And there are common denominator that existed in all this problem that we have encountered. Isa lang ang common denominator. Sa buying of properties, mga corporations owned by Chinese. Yung mga drugs entered in our country, all Chinese. Yung POGOs, that we encountered a lot of criminal elements perpetrated by Chinese. Di ba? These are all connected. And because of this kind of interconnection, the implementation of all these orders, nagbunga noong mga extrajudicial killings. Di ba? That intertwined with drugs. Di ba? Kaya marami tayong dapat itanong na dapat maintindihan ng tao dahil meron dito talagang yung pinuntahang isang pagpanig sa isang bansa at hindi pagpanig sa isang bansa. And I think the President is right on trying to put himself in a middle in order to maximize the benefits of the two countries. Kasi yun yung pinaka-outmost concern natin. Bakit tayo parang nandun, magiging probinsya na tayo ng China, ito ba ay tinatawag na mind conditioning to all of us? There must be something on top that somehow controlled us. Yun lang.
Last question na po. May timeline po ba kayo rito sa Quadcom ninyo? Hanggang kailan kayo mag-hearing?
Walang timeline. If the committees feel na we have already exhaustively gathered enough and sufficient information and data, then siguro that's a time. We have to be thorough about this investigation. Ayaw naman natin na-create ito at wala tayong produkto. No? As you probably all know, ang Kongresong mandato ng Kongreso ay gumawa ng batas. No? At hindi ganun kadali para sa ganitong klaseng issue na gumawa tayo ng batas. That's why we want to be thorough about this. If this will take several hearings, if there is a necessity also to go around the country to conduct public hearings, why not? And if we feel that sufficient na yan, then that's a time siguro ihinto namin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Big Simintak from Net25, you're recognized.
Okay, good morning po. Just a quick follow-up lang po. Sa sandaling mag-convene na yung Quadcom, may we know what will happen doon sa mga personalities involved doon sa 4 na committee na na-issuehan ng show cause order at saka warrant of arrest na until now they refuse to show up.
Okay, thank you. No. Anyway, the contempt and the contempt order that was issued to different personalities, and that includes Michael Yang, that will be only lifted, of course, if the resolution and the committee report was adopted in the plenary. So automatic lifted yan. But of course, if the presence of all those cited in contempt by each committee, if their presence is needed and necessary in this Quadcom committee, papatawag ulit namin. So again, if they refuse to attend hearings without valid excuse, therefore, they can be cited again in contempt. But sa committee level po, It will be automatically lifted pag dumating na po sa plenary approval or adoption ng committee report.
Just a clarification lang. Meaning to say, the committee report ng 4 na committee before mag-convene ng Quadcom will be submitted to plenary?
No, not necessarily.
Not
Sabi ko
necessarily.
kasi kanina, as I've said, there are issues or resolution that concerns parochial. No?
Okay.
So, tuloy-tuloy lang po yun until such time that a committee report will be approved at the committee level and adopted in plenary. While ongoing hearing dito sa Quadcom, if that committee report or data or facts, testimonies is needed to be used in this Quadcom, it can be used. For example lang ganito, yung sa case ni Michael Yang, that's why gusto ko lang dugtungan yung sinabi kanina ng mga kasamaan ko dito with regards to the presence of the President that will be invited by the Quadcom. Now, for example, the person who Michael Yang, alam naman ng public who is Michael Yang, di ba? Until now, he's a fugitive. He's cited in contempt sa committee. Now, alam naman po natin, lahat ngayon dito, nakaumang doon kay Michael Yang. For example, in my committee, Edith Tayang, etong si Willie Ong, konektado yung kapatid niya, ngayon dito sa Pogo, konektado doon sa, may isa pa, konektado sa Parmali. So, it is only the President, previous administration, or the past President that can answer this. Because nobody can answer with regards to the appointment, so-called appointment of Michael Yang. Di ba? As an economic advisor during that time. Whether that is official, hindi ko nakita yung dokumento, but it was announced in public. And Michael Yang now cannot be found. Tapos, itong Michael Yang ngayon, konektado sa lahat. Pogo, drugs, sa akin, sa committee ko, yung mga Chinese national pretending to be Filipinos, yung mga tao doon, konektado sa kanya. So, who can answer this? I think nobody. Unless until we can catch up with Michael Yang or President Duterte himself. Thank you po.
Your question is, what happens to those people who were cited in contempt by the different committees? It would remain until, as far as our rules are concerned, until the final committee report is presented to the plenary. So, until they present themselves to the committee, if they present themselves to the committee, the contempt order will be lifted. If they will not appear up to the time that the committee report will be submitted to the plenary, it would only be the time na ma-lift din yung contempt nila. Yun po yung kwan. Now, this is a different committee. It's known as the Quad Committee. The committee would follow the rules of the House. I think the rules to be followed by the committee, Quad Committee is already being, shall we say, by the different COMSEC. They're preparing the rules to be followed by this committee already. So we can invite any person we want to, who would be necessary to provide us the necessary information. We can also cite people invited for contempt if they do not appear. Para bang ganun pa rin dun sa different committees dito. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us recognize Elson Kismorio from Manila Bulletin.
Hello, Kongs. Good morning po. On other matters po, just want to take advantage of this opportunity po kasi for Kong Akop, nasa balita po kasi I have to ask this. Regarding po yung issue on the Vice President sa security detail, based on your experience and knowledge po from your background po sa police force, Kong, ano po ba yung tamang numero ho ng security detail dapat ng Vice President? Kasi parang may variance po kasi. VP Lenny reportedly had only 75 and in the case of VP Sara naman, even after the 75 police escorts were removed, nasa 400 pa daw po. So, just your take po.
You're asking for my
Your assessment,
opinion.
boss. Yes po.
Being a former member of the uniformed service.
Yes, boss.
Yes. Securities or security personnel are provided because of their positions. Di po ba? And security personnel are also provided because of the threat assessment conducted by the authorities concerned. In the case of the Vice President, meron siya talagang official detail kailangan because of her position as the Vice President. Now, the number of the personnel which would be assigned to the Vice President would depend on the threat assessment conducted by the appropriate authorities. So kung yung threat assessment ay imminent, mas marami po ang security niya. Yun po. But if we compare yung security detail ni Vice President Robredo to Vice President Duterte, hindi ko po alam yung ano yung threat assessment na meron po silang dalawa.
So it's normal kung to have that kind of variance in number?
Kasi depende dun sa threat assessment niya eh. Whether malaki yung possibility na meron talang pagtatangka sa buhay niya. Ganon po yung aming sinusunod nung ako'y nasa serbisyo eh.
Okay, thank you, Kong. Just one more question. Since the five of you will be working more closely in the coming months, I was just wondering, may tawag po ba kayo sa grupo po ninyo? Especially since I think I can speak for the rest of my colleagues. Kayo po yung pinaka-no-nonsense na Solons. Kayo po kinakatakutan ng resource persons. Kapag nagagalit nga po kayo, pati po kami nagko-cover, natatakot din po eh. I know kung Barbers likes the term debonair. So.
Hindi, siguro I guess it's now a challenge to the media to coin a term for that. But for us, trabaho lang po, walang personalan. Most of us, ako ay last termer. Si Kong Paduano is also a last termer. So we've been here in Congress ilang rounds na rin. So trabaho lang kasi gusto rin natin talaga na matulungan ang ating bansa, ang ating administrasyon sa ngayon. So, if you're going to ask my honest opinion, wala kaming naisip. Hindi naman pwedeng Spice Boys dahil Old Spice na kami.
That's a deodorant, boss. Thank you po.
Thank you. Krisa Subing-Subing from Inquirer.
Hello, good morning po, sir. Nabanggit na po ni Kong Apcop kanina na the same rules of the committee will apply to this Quadcom in terms of how you will invite resource persons and whether you can cite them in contempt if they don't appear. I'm wondering how that would extend to when you invite President Duterte, because if I remember correctly, nung in-invite po siya ni Kong Abante for the Committee on Human Rights, he extended what do you call this, presidential courtesy in that. Hindi naman po magli-lead to a show cause order or anything. If the Quadcom invites President Duterte, will that privilege be also extended to him, or is it the kind where if he doesn't show up, as I'm sure he will likely be doing, pwede po ba ito mag-lead to a citation of contempt?
I think we have to exhaust every possibilities. If the President, again, hindi umattend sa papatawag nating hearings, maraming option that we can possibly do. Trying to issue a show cause order, most likely we will be refraining muna sa ganong aksyon. But for the meantime, the chairman and the members are talking about different kind of options. So, wag muna natin sigurong pag-usapan yun. Let it really flow in the natural way. Para na sa ganon, wag natin ma-preempt yung sitwasyon.
Thank you. Joy Cantos from Filipino Star ngayon.
Sir, nasang level po yung grand conspiracy between dito sa mga POGO operators at sa mga airing government officials natin na involved po? Kasi yung POGOs po na-establish doon yung involved din sa organized crime syndicates. Meron pa nga pong mga human trafficking, may drugs, may love scam pa. Pinasok na rin lahat ng scam po eh. Sige po. Po, kasi po yung some government officials po natin ay involved din, past, pwedeng meron din sa present kasi nakapag-produce sila ng mga birth certificate, ng mga fake passport. Hindi naman po mangyayari yung kung walang connivance.
Ito po kasi, again, as I've said, it started it all with by committee, no? Doon po sa mga late registration, PSA, ano doon. Pag nakakuha na po ng, of course, sa PSA level, pag nakakuha na, pag nakalusot, pwede na mag-LTO, diba, driver's license, pwede na mag-passports, no? Et cetera. Gun license, pwede rin, well, fucking, pwede yan, may mga baril. But anyway, so, question, it's either directly involved, yung mga personal sa agency, or because of the weak guidelines, no, and practices doon mismo sa mga agencies. Pero of course, in the case of this is Parokya, in the case of Mexico, Pampanga, malinaw po na yung mayor doon is involved. Is in courts with Eddie Tayang. So, kung titingnan mo, kung nangyayari ito sa municipal level, at yan ito, yung pogo at saka yung drugs. Siyempre, yung buong connection nito from the lower level up to the higher level, na ang question na ngayon is, dapat malinaw kung ano talagang, kung sino ang mananagot dito sa national level. Kasi, as mentioned by Chairman Dan kanina, kaya kumalat yung pogo dahil doon sa EO13 eh. But of course, this is not a conclusive, by the members of this PADCOM. Ang sa akin lang po is, of course, may managot dyan. Now, kaya nga, gusto kong ibalik, it's the former president that issues that EO, kung pogong pag-uusapan, he has to answer that. Diba? So, ano yan, napaka-complicated na net ng mga sindikato. In which, ngayon, karamihan is involved yung mga foreign nationals na mga Chinese.
Mr. Chair, may I? Thank you. Doon po kasi sa nangyayari sa atin, some people are taking advantage of the loopholes of our laws. Some people have also taken advantage doon sa masamang kultura natin kung minsan, especially in the implementation of our laws. Kasi, we take a specific example kung bakit nagkakaroon ng passport yung alien, for example, Chinese. Kasi, inallow natin na magkaroon ng late registration. For example, Alice Go, 17 years. 17 years old nung na-register yung birth niya eh. So, it was registered in a local civil registry. Hindi natin malam kung yung local civil registry, sinunod niya yung patakaran nila para magkaroon ng tamang late na pagka-register na kanyang birth. Now, tinanong din namin nung, kasi i-report ng local civil registry sa PSA, where we get all our birth certificates to support yung ating pag-apply dun sa passport. Yung tinignan din namin yung protocol ng PSA, ang sagot nga sa amin nun, ministerial lang yung kanilang gawain eh. So there's something missing doon sa ating mga batas at sa ating mga guidelines or protocols. So we have to look into this para ma-plug yung mga loopholes na ito. And I think that's part of the reason why kailangan maimbestigan ng Quadcom para, yun nga, magkaroon ng remedial measures after the hearings conducted by this body. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ako, sagutin ko lang yung katanungan mo na gaano kalawak, ano? So, sa investigasyon natin sa PNP, naniniwala tayo na maraming involved, ano? Doon lang sa successful operation, tapos na-relieve yung mga officers and men, tapos they were scattered all over the country. Instead, nandito sila, pagpapatuloy yung laban doon sa mga illegal gamblings, illegal pogos, inalis sila dito sa kanilang area of jurisdiction na naging successful. We have found out na yung issue ng mga ng ating mga opisyal ay umaakyat hanggang itaas. Having said that, no, meron din sa issue ng mga LGUs, sa mga mayors. Well, hindi natin alam kung gaano kalawak itong involvement ng mga public official elected, and even yung mga appointed sa PSA, they were appointed, but of course hindi natin alam kung gaano kahaba yung ammunition ng ating mga kalaban. Kasi ang pipili mo dito kaya lumalawak to dahil sa pera, no? So in other words, kaya natin inaalam dahil national security na nga po ang concern dito, yung ating pong bayan. So mamimili ka na dito, di ba? Pera o bayan. Yun lang po.
Sir, with regards to the bloody war on drugs, sir, based sa statement po ng mga naging witness and resource person, sama na natin si Colonel Asierto, is there a compelling reason to believe that the ex-President Duterte is really the mastermind of the EJK? Is there really an order to kill outside the very ambit of the judicial system, or is just merely a contributive factor? Kasi may mga statement siya before, although wala namang sir, may sinasabi sa mga pulis, nasa grandstand pa nga ako noon, kill 1,000 and I'll protect you.
Well, we will cross the bridge when we get there. No? Kasi inaakusahan siya ng NUPL, for example, like Attorney Nery Colmenares, Attorney Conti, and the other NUPL leaders, like, for example, Attorney Adel Jokno, in my hearing, and even the Makabayan Black have actually accused him to be the mastermind of this. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out in our hearings.
Mr. Chair, in the committee of the Honorable Abante, may mga accusations against the former president. Di po ba? And it is but right and proper that we also give him the opportunity to defend himself. So that is precisely the reason why and the basis why the committee would invite him if he would accede to our invitation so that he can answer the accusations leveled against him. And I think that is part of due process. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Joy. Red Mendoza from Manila Times.
Hi po, good afternoon, good morning po. I have 3 questions lang po. First, dikit ko lang po yung question ni Krisha kasi you said po na hindi nyo po, na you're going to exhaust all measures to invite President Duterte sa hearing. Pero of course, meron po siyang karapatan tumanggi po. Are you avoiding a possible political repercussion sa mga supporters niya if you force him if you force yourselves to put him on a contempt order? Kasi baka magkaroon ng political repercussion, especially sa mga supporters niya.
We're not into that business. Yung magkaroon ng, sasali kami sa isang political squabble. No. We're here to do our job. And our job is to find out whether the laws that we have enacted in Congress are properly implemented by the executive. Kasi yun naman ang kwan eh. We enact the laws, the executive will implement these laws. Tama po ba? Yes. And kami, we're also governed by certain practices. For example, if Senator Bato will not attend the hearings to be conducted by the Quadcom, then that is his choice. And we will respect that. Kasi there's such a thing as interparliamentary courtesy. So if they invite us there also, and if we do not want to attend, it's our choice. Ganun po yun. But we afford each other yung tinatawag po natin interparliamentary courtesy. In the case of the former president, hindi po ba? Ang lahat po na naging Pangulo ng ating bansa, nire-respeto po natin, maski wala na sila sa posisyon. Kasi ang respeto, dalawang aspect po yun eh. Pag siya ay nasa pwesto, we respect the position that he holds and we respect the person. Kasi dapat respetuhin natin lahat ng tao eh. So, we will afford him the necessary respect na nararapat po sa kanya. Maraming pong salamat.
Dagdagan ko lang ng maiksi. Gaya nung sinabi ni Chairman Acop, yung aming mga iniimbitahang resource persons are resource persons that will help the committee in crafting legislation. Ngayon, of course, we want to invite people who are in the know. Yung may pagkakaalam, yung merong wisdom na pwedeng makatulong sa amin. And if any of the committees will deem it proper to invite the former president or any resource persons for that matter, as long as makakatulong, bakit hindi? Kaya ng sinabi ni Chairman Acop, karapatan din po nilang tumanggi. And we will respect that.
Okay. Second question na lang po. Kasi, of course, we all know na this investigation, itong Quad Committee na ito, all point out to what the actions made by the previous administration has done.
Let me correct you. No, hindi yan yung sa previous administration. Kasi there is a existing bukod dun sa hearing, meron pong nangyayaring mga hindi maganda sa ating government agencies. And mandato rin po ng mga kongresista na tingnan kung bakit nangyayari yung ganito. No, this has nothing to do with political or anything of the previous administration. Hindi. Nagkakataon lamang na kasi bago pa lang itong ating administrasyon sa ngayon, and karamihan ng mga government agencies or personalities in the agencies that are mentioned to be involved in this shenanigans. Kaya yun ang gusto nating matingnan.
Saka, in addition to that, you have to remember that these investigations ng different committees started way back. Yung una yung sa committee ng accounts, when they started the investigation of those companies, corporations, buying properties owned by Filipinos, whereas sila ay mga foreigners. Doon nag-cultivate yan eh. Then, doon sa Committee on Transportation, you found out that there were auxiliary ng mga Coast Guards, 36 na mga Chinese, general, captain, colonels. Bakit nagkaroon ng mga Coast Guard, ng mga Chinese, volunteers, na kaikot sila sa ating mga Navy ships? Then, sa akin, yung sa Pogo, dahil doon sa mga criminal elements that was found out, not by us, but by the PAOK-TF, then relayed to us, to the President, and the Speaker, deem it right to have an investigation on this matter. So lahat yan, hindi yan nagtutungo at nagdadirect sa isang tao. Ang tinatanong lang namin, bakit doon na nag-imbestiga kami a year ago hanggang ngayon, nakikita namin yung interrelation ng mga issues that we are tackling.
Pero,
the previous administration might have triggered this investigation. But it's continuing on. Kaya nga nag-iimbestiga kami so that makakapag-craft kami ng legislation to put a stop on the alleged criminal organizations that have happened. It's continuing on eh. Hindi naman to talaga politiko, but it's actually trying to stop what has been happening for a number of years.
Chairman. Dagdag ko lang po. Kasi, for example, yung that was mentioned by Chairman Acop with regards to the problems, loopholes with regards to the process sa PSA. Problema natin po sa LCR. Problema natin po sa LRA, sa mga RDOs natin. Question of land, question of late registration. This never happens during the past administration ng Duterte. This happens even prior to the administration of Duterte. Kaya hindi pwedeng sabihin na we create this committee because Kasi pag ganyan, ang iisip ka agad politika. Kaya ang sinasabi ko na this is not yet a conclusive. Even the accusation made by NUPL, by the Makabayan Black, is not conclusive. That's why may investigasyon ginagawa tayo. And this started it all not only because of the previous administration, even past administration. Ito na yung nangyayari. Nagkataon lang po ngayon that the leadership in the House, we as chairman, ginawa namin yung trabaho namin. It started with, sa committee ko nga, doon sa mga agencies involved in this, all these unscrupulous transactions. And that involves agencies such as PSA, diba, LRA, even DFA, the BID. Well, in fact, sa BID, may gusto pa nga kami din ipamend na MCD nila in regards to students, foreign students, no? Bibigyan nila ng visa. Yung question of visas from different agencies. No, the authority to give visas to from different agencies. So, hindi tama po na this Quadcom, this investigation in my committee, it started with, kasi ang dulo nun, ang conclusion nun, pag ganyan is politika. Sinasabi ko na, even the accusation in UPL, Makabayan Black, is not conclusive. Titignan po natin kung anong maging resulta ng investigation.
So, for the record lang po, this investigation is not going to target politics kasi nga po baka kasi isipin po nila na baka tinatarget niyo po si Vice President Sara Duterte. Especially dun po sa kanyang mga, of course, it all points out to the Vice President, her breaking off with the administration. So, do you think, for the record lang po ba, hindi po ba ito related sa...
Hindi ito politika, hindi ito related sa political persecution. Ginagawa lang po namin ang trabaho namin nang sa ganon ay maiayos natin yung mga ahensya ng gobyerno at mga kawani ng gobyerno na tiwali, no? Pumapasok sa mga kalukuhan. Kagaya nga nung nabanggit ni Chairman Paduano, kailangan tingnan din anong batas ang pwedeng gawin ng Kongreso. Dahil nakita natin, kung itong problema ito ay hindi masolve ngayon, at ito'y mapabayaan, lalaki ito. Kawawa ang mga anak ninyo at mga apo natin. So, yun lang.
Mr. Chair. Ganito lang ang specific problem. Can you tell me which agency can give us the correct number of visas issued by the government? Kayo, nakukuha nyo yung nangyayari dito sa ating bansa. But can you tell me which agency can give us the correct number of visas issued by government to foreign nationals? Meron ba? Wala. Alam nyo kung bakit? Kasi yung lahat po na economic zones, they're authorized by law to issue visas. The Philippine Retirement Authority is also authorized by law to issue visas. The Bureau of Immigration is also authorized by law to issue visas. Pero wala pong nagme-maintain ng central database. Na-discover namin yun So, if we ask the number of current visas issued by the government to foreign nationals, we do not know. Na-discover namin yan during the investigation. Ito lang po yung gusto namin na matignan dahil yung DFA could issue visas pero could not answer our questions. Dahil sa problema ganito, so something has to be done. Di po ba? Kaya yun po yung aming kwan. Now, sinasabi po nyo, baka it would lead to politics. I don't think this would lead to politics. Kasi, ang lalabas naman, mababasa at makikita ninyo Thank you, Mr. Chair.
In addition to that, in every hearings that we have conducted, ako especially sa aking hearing, never kong na-issue or nabanatan or tinira ang Vice President. Never. It's always the PNP. Di ba? Yung mga appointed ni Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, yung mga generals that were appointed that are gumagawa ng mga kalokohan. Di ba? Sila. And even doon sa public accounts, yung mga mayors, LGU, sila yung mga nako-contempt. We never mentioned Vice President Sara, and we have no intention. But if the evidence will lead to her, then so be it. But for now, lahat ng investigation namin, transparent, nakikita nyo, napapanood, lahat yun leading to the present administration. Yung mga nakaupong mga opisyales.
Last
you,
na
Red.
lang. Ay, last na lang, kuya.
Sige, go ahead.
Kasi meron kakalabas lang ng statement ni Vice President Sara Duterte, Kong Dan as Committee Chair ng Public Order and Safety, Kong Romeo. Ito, to quote her, ang Pilipinas may mga representante sa Kamara dapat na nagkakaintindihan ng totoong sanhi ng kakulangan sa police to population ratio. That the shortage is a figure that cannot be solved during our lifetime due to the annual ballooning population and lack of budgetary resources to hire more personnel. The country should have representatives who understand that in order to fully address the shortage, there is a need to leverage available technology and leapfrog into the future where policemen are armed with the best security products that do not require their physical presence all the time. Subalit ang Pilipinas ngayon ay may mga representante na imbes na magpasa ng makabagong batas ay nagpupumilit sumausaw sa issue ng iba. Your reaction?
Okay, my reaction with this is this. I beg to disagree, na yung ideal ratio is not already been achieved by the PNP. We have like 115 million Filipinos, and the ideal ratio is 1:500. 1 policeman to 500 people. And kung i-divide mo yung 115 million sa 228 na mga police sa buong Pilipinas, we already have a ratio of 1:507. And having said that, we have achieved already the ideal ratio. And as a matter of fact, ngayong 2025, mag-i-increase tayo ng another 10,000 ng mga recruitment ng mga bagong police. Now, yun naman pagdating sa AFP na sinasabi natin na meron hindi ko alam kung confirm to, na meron siyang 400 na AFP. Kung ating pagbabasihan yung analytical data and mathematical computation ng pagbibigay ng security, sa ating BP Sara. Kasi meron tayong 150,000 na AFP. Kung titingnan nyo yung records, statistics. And we are archipelagic nation, di ba? At kung tayo archipelagic nation, we compose of, I think, 7,641 islands. At 2,000 doon ang inhabited ng tao. At kung 2,000 inhabited ng tao, di ba? At meron tayong 150,000 na mga sundalo. Kung scattered mo yan doon sa 2,000 islands, meron tayong 75 soldiers na naka-assign lamang sa bawat isla. At kung having said that, kung meron si BP Sara na 400 na sundalo naka-assign sa kanya, at meron tayong 75 soldiers sa bawat isla, I think that is excessive and that is somehow irrational. Being a public official, we must be prudent, di ba? To see the meager budget of our government, di ba? We have to maximize. And the work of the AFP is the external threats, di ba? And I hope na siguro yung 400 na bigay sa kanya, I think she have to be thankful to the government for giving that numbers of AFP. Kasi kung titignan mo, mas marami pa yung nakatalaga sa kanya kesa ibibigay natin sa bawat isla ng ating bansa. Kung yun ang pagbabasihan natin ng ratio. But of course, ang ratio ng mga sundalo is not that way. Hindi ganoon Kasi naka-standby sila for any threats against our nation. Pero pagdating sa police, I beg to disagree dahil almost nare-reach na po natin yung ideal ratio na 1:500.
Okay, thank you. Last question from Ed Galvez of PBC. Last na lang po.
Good morning,
Ed, bilisan mo na lang.
Meron pong isang party list congresswoman na nagsabi na kung mawawala ang POGO, bakit hindi na lang daw po ipalit mag-operate ang isabong? Meron naman isang kongresista, marami sa mga drug rehabilitation centers, 60% are suffering from gambling addiction, not drug dependent. Nakikita niyo po ba ang posibilidad na isabong ang ipalit sa POGO? At least made in the Philippines, not made in China?
Ako, personal ko, kung tatanungin mo ayoko. Ako, I really don't like the gambling per se. But yung POGO natin is have been pronounced by the President na to stop it, di ba? But basically, na-expose na yung evilness ng Pogo. And according to Altenco, there were like 46 na mga legitimate who have paid yung kanilang mga necessary application fee, yung kanilang mga bond, which I think around $500,000 each. And it has given a lot of money to the government. But the President have pronounced it already, no? And I think kung papalitan natin yung isabong dito sa Pogo, it's same banana. So, I think tayo namang mga Pilipino, kaya natin mag-survive Kahit nawalan tayo ng ganito, wala nga yung mga pinagkikitaan natin dati sa Subic Bay, nawala. Pero we were able to survive. Di ba? As a matter of fact, ganun tayo, resilient tayo mga Pilipino, and let it be. Lilipas din yan at makakasurvive tayo doon sa nawalang pondo na nanggaling po doon sa tinatawag natin Pogo.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair? 2 points. Yung unang nagtanong kanina kasi na-mention na kami ni Chairman Dan Fernandez ang sasagot. Sa akin, the moment that we provide people security, personnel, we deprive the Filipino people of 2-3 security personnel. Di po ba? Kasi ang police force, for example, nandyan to keep peace and order for the whole country, para sa tao. Kung alisin natin sa isang bayan, gawin natin security yung 3, you're depriving that place of 3 protective security personnel. Yun yung akin. That is my answer to your question. Now, yung pong katanungan po ninyo, isabong will replace Pogos. Alam po ninyo, when we were discussing itong Pogos na ito, wala pa yung pronouncement ni Presidente, we were balancing yung economic versus the social ills. In the same manner, if we look at isabong, may economic portion of it, meron ding social ill na nangyayari. But as far as I have observed on the ground, nung existent na yung isabong, malaki po ang nangyayari dun sa, yung sa isang pamilya. Kasi karamihan ay nangungutang na to the extent na pati yung sweldo nila wala nang may uwi dahil lang sa pagsusugal. And I think yung statement mo na meron ding gambling addiction, I think that is true. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you, sir.
May I say something? Ikaw muna ka.
Chairman, ganito po. Kasi parang, hindi ko naman intindihan, replace isabong to from Pogo. Kasi magkaiba yun, di ba? Now you're talking, of course, with due respect to all those proponents for isabong, it's all about resources for government, di ba? Pwede ibang platform yun, di ba? Isabong ang Pogo, magkaiba yun, di ba? Now the President has ordered to stop Pogo. Now, yung isabong, tingnan mo yung isabong, balikan natin STL. What is the rationale behind STL? Di ba? To stop wetting, to stop illegal gambling. Di ba? Ngayon, para daw yung mga nagwe-wetting, yung mga operators, malaking operators nationwide, magliligal na, kaya may STL. But as of now, is illegal gambling stop? Yung wetting stop? Yung bookie stop? No. Kaya, again, with due respect to all those problems, it's all about resources for the government. Di ba? Now, kaya ako, personal opinion ko dyan, ilatag muna natin yung rationale behind the legalization of isabong. Di ba? Ilatag muna natin. Huwag muna tayong mag-usap doon sa palitan yung Pogo sa isabong. Because, pag ganyan, we are just talking about resources of government. Of course, we admit na may problema talaga, may kulang, may kailangan habulin. But, on the basis of isabong for Pogo to replace Pogo, medyo malabo. And number 2, the rationale behind. Bakit kailangan natin illegalize ulit ang isabong? Kasi kung ang basis is to curb, kasi may lumalabas Kasi kahit daw illegal na, may order na to stop isabong, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung online isabong. Underground, illegal. So, kailangan mo illegal na naman para to stop illegal isabong operations. Babalik tayo doon sa STL. Let us check first the STL. Kung ang rationale is the same, siguro kailangan mag-aral ulit. Balikan muna natin yung nakaraan natin doon sa STL.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
Ako naman, any form of gambling promotes corruption. Tama yung sinabi po ni Congressman Acop na social ill po ito. Now, even if any form of gambling could provide some resources to the government, it is still a social ill. We cannot deny that. For example, sabi ni Chairman Altenco, there are now 44 licensed POGO in the country. But there are more than 400 illegal POGO hubs in the whole nation. So ano yan, no? Okay, sa amin nagsimula ang isabong sa distrito ko. Nung nagpatayo doon ng isang high-end na sabungan. So sa distrito ko, we actually fired against that. Bakit? Sapagkat yung Santa Ana is a historical site yan Oo, at maraming simbahan doon, maraming paaralan, pero nagtayo pa rin. Oo, sapagkat kinampihan nung dating mayor, yung nagtayo ng sabungan. Now look ano nangyari? Nung binuksan nila yan, 6 agad ang nawalang tao doon sa sabungan na yan. 4 months later, 31 na ang nawala. Hanggang ngayon, nawawala pa rin yung mga tao. Kaya hindi mo pa rin maalis ang korupsyon sa gambling. Kaya dapat sa akin, ihinto na ang gambling sa Pilipinas sapagkat hindi nakakatulong yan sa economic development. Oo, meron tayong mga bansa, Malaysia, UAE, walang gambling dyan. Pero may yaman mga bansa yan. Pwede naman tayong maging mayaman kahit walang gambling
Thank you, sir.